Hello, everyone. Dr. Victoria Scarbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. Today is time for Taroscopes. We're going to be doing the Taroscopes for the year 2023 for the sign of Leo. That's Leo Ascendant, Leo Moon, Leo Sun. Before we get to the cards, I want to just sort of talk a little astrology. There are some big changes happening this year. Of course, the sun, the ruler of Leo, moves, is very much, spends 1 month in each sign, right? So there's a continuity about Leo and the path of the sun. So the path of the sun in whatever sign the sun is in is significant for Leo. Maybe in a certain way, sun sign astrology works best for the Leo in that respect. There are big changes happening this year, some major shifts, some sort of dipping our toe into the water of the future, and of course, some lessons to be learned around our feelings and our emotions. So we do have Pluto, the planet of power, the planet of transformation, the planet of death and rebirth, the planet of the soul, moving into Aquarius for the first time in 240 odd years or 30 odd years. And so it's a transformational energy. And what's significant for the Leo is that Aquarius is your opposite sign. So over the next 20 years, because that's how long Pluto is going to be in Aquarius, you come face to face with your power and your powerlessness. There are certain things that you can affect. There are certain parts of yourself that you didn't know were there that are challenged and come out, and that becomes your power. So there is a question of and a dipping in to the possibilities of the future when it comes to that for you, Leo. And it's a powerful time. It's a challenging time too. And one of the things that can happen when you have a planet, any planet opposing one of your natal planets, but especially one as powerful as Pluto, at a time when, are we moving into the Aquarian age, is that it's a time when you're sort of being called, and when things can be, you can either project onto or be projected onto. So that is a consideration as well with Pluto moving into Aquarius, but it's only in Aquarius from the 23rd of March to June 11th, and then it goes back into Capricorn. So you still have plenty of things to wrap up with Capricorn before it leaves Pluto in Capricorn before it leaves Capricorn completely in, I think, 2025. What else? Saturn moves into Pisces. That's significant, Leo. Pisces is your 8th house. Pisces is your 8th house of relationship, shared values, debt, shared resources, inheritance, your emotions, your feelings. And when Saturn goes to the 8th house, it can sometimes be a very lonely experience. It's really like standing alone in a way, but in that standing alone, you realize who you are and what you have to offer. And you can bring that to the next group or the next situation or the next collaboration that you have. So it can be it can be a lonely time. It can be a difficult thing for a Leo, which has so much life force, in it. But there's also lessons to be learned and meaning to be extracted. So it's going to be very fruitful when it comes to extracting meaning from situations. The nodes of the moon shift, they're in node in Taurus right now, in a close conjunction to Uranus. So things are still moving and shaking. And for you, that's your house of career. Taurus is your house of career. It's your 10th house. And then Scorpio is that 4th house. So it's really about sort of letting go of even maybe some family secrets come up that, it's time for the secrets to come out. And, some of them may be, even though you think you've heard all the secrets, some of them may be a bit shocking. So take that under advisement, as they say. The nodes do move into Aries, and the South Node in Libra, that happens the end of July, I think. And so we're shifting from the survival energies of Taurus, and we'll be moving into the ability to express yourself, put yourself out there. But Chiron is in Aries, so some people will be putting themselves out there in not so in impulsive ways, but not necessarily wise ways. So we still have a bit of a fight ahead, guys. But I think everything's going to work out anyway. It's supposed to. That's the way it has to. And a lot of it has to do with what we do. So, we're not completely in control, but we're not also completely not in control. We're co-creative with Spirit, and Spirit has a higher vision. And if we align with the Spirit, then we become creators ourselves, and we also become creators of light, just as they, the creators create us. So it's an exciting time to be alive and witness what's going on. There's huge shift, and once we open our eyes to it, I think we'll be amazed at just how far we can go so quickly. It seems like justice has taken a really long time to come around, but it does come around, and it will come around, and it's a basis for knowing that, that it is true. I mean, cosmic justice is a thing, guys. It's a thing. And so you don't have to worry that people aren't going to be held accountable, because they will, just like you will, just like we're all held accountable for what we do and what we don't do, what we are too afraid to do, and sometimes too impulsive and too brave to do. Like some things we should probably not do. But, I asked my husband an interesting question. We were talking about, times we like ourselves and the times we don't like ourselves. And I said, when you don't like yourself, I said, do you still love yourself? And he had to think about it. And I think it's a question worth asking, even when you don't, when you like yourself, when things are going great and you feel like you're giving your best, it's good to love yourself. But when you're not doing your best, and you're not being what you might consider the person that you could be, do you still love yourself? That's a good question. Leo is all about love. I guess that's why I brought that up. So let's take a look at the oracle cards. I just want to show you, I'm wearing some amber. Amber is like petrified sunlight, right? So this is like ancient sunlight. It's a lot, and there's a lot. A lot of the amber comes from the Baltic region, right? From that area around like Russia and Belarus, and probably the Ukraine and probably Finland, that area. Um, so it's vibrating to that. And I'm wearing a bracelet. And it's funny that I'm showing you this while we're talking about Leo. So I know if you have Leo in your chart, you're all interested in this, right? What is she wearing? What's the decorations? What's the symbology of that, right? I also have amber earrings on. So we have a little ancient sunlight here. But this bracelet is an interesting story, and I want to just mention it. And because my mother had 4 planets in Leo, Angelina, who just passed, and I'm wearing my mother's wedding ring. So might even be a little bit of a Angelina channel, although I wouldn't. She's just laughing at me. I have a picture of her next to me. She's just like, come on now. You don't need me. Oh shit. Oh, sorry. Um, this bracelet was given to me. I think I was in high school. I might have been 14 or 15. There was this place that oh my God, it was like a jewelry store. It's kind of like a precursor to a place like um, BJ's, or it's kind of like a clubby kind of thing. But it was jewelry, surface merchandise. That's what it was called. And they'd have a catalog, and my parents would sometimes go in there and get stuff. So we had a catalog, and I saw this in the catalog, and I wanted it so bad, and I like dreamed about it. And I don't think it was exorbitant, but for me, it seemed like a lot of money, and like it's something I really liked. And my parents, up to that point, mostly gave me stuff that they liked or that they thought I needed. And so I didn't have a lot of say about like what I wanted, like maybe a toy or something, but like things like clothes or jewelry, I wasn't really allowed to pick out my own clothes for a long time. My mother, yeah, I wanted a fringe leather jacket, like suede, a fringe suede jacket with like real fringe and real suede, and that everybody wore in the 70s. And my mother said, no, you can't have that. You're too young for that. You can't take care of it, blah 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 blah. But like they would spend a lot of money on like a camel hair coat, like a wool coat. So it wasn't about whether I could take care of it, it was what it symbolized, right? But this was sort of that sort of energy of something that I wanted to define myself with. And it's a bracelet, and it's copper, brass, and silver. And so it's tarnished now, so it's hard to tell that it's silver. But that Christmas, I got a shirt with Al Pacino's face on it from Serpico. No, not Serpico. It wasn't Serpico. I'm not sure. Maybe it was Serpico. But anyway, I loved Al Pacino. And so I was like a fangirl. So I got my Al Pacino shirt, and my parents bought me this. And it was like the best like Christmas that I remember as far as gifts. I was like over the moon, so excited, jumping around. And I was a teenager, so when your teenager jumps around, it's kind of funny to the parents, I think. But I was grateful that they recognized that I had a say in who I was. And that's a lot. I think that's a lot. And that's Leo, the right to be who you are, your authentic self. You can shine your light and shine it bright. And some people don't like that. Some people feel like you're showing off. Some people feel like you're taking on the attention. But the Leo enlightens. The Leo enlightens. So keep shining, Leo. All right, let's see. We're going to do we're going to pick 3 cards. This is the Oracle deck, the Illuminated Oracle, the Illuminated Earth Oracle. I've done this for everybody. First is balance. Balance. So this means that you either have balance, which is cool if you happen to have it, but it mostly means that you have to stay balanced. So it's real important this year forward that you stay balanced. You want to make sure that you have the foundation for reaching up in the way that you want to reach up, right? You have to have the foundation. That needs to be balanced. Wisdom. Wisdom. You are sharing your wisdom. You are shining your light, Leo. The world needs your light. The world needs your light. So shine it. See what happens. Good things, Leo. I'm telling you, good things. A relationship. Relationships are going to have their challenges, but it's okay because it helps to find your position. You have to define your own position. You have to figure out who you are. And while there may be some argumentation or some, knocking heads, not literally, of course, please, there's also some passion being ignited. So and that might be why you need to balance here. There needs to be a balance of nothing in extreme, nothing in extreme. Okay. All right. That's what the Oracle cards say for you, Leo. Now let's look at the year ahead with the tarot, and I'm going to use the Arcanum deck, which I very often use for Leo because it's such a pretty, regal, beautiful deck, and Leo does love a little bit of beauty and a little bit of show. They like elaborate things that make them look rich, and rich things. My father would say champagne taste, as it were. He used to say to me, you have champagne taste and beer barrel pockets. Which isn't wrong. He's not wrong about that, let me tell you. I have a Leo ascendant, and my mom, who raised me, was a Leo. And my birth mother, I believe, has a moon in Leo. So a lot of Leo going around. I say I believe because we're not actually sure of her birth time, so it's possible that she has Cancer. I think she's got Leo. Okay. So as we start the year and through the year, we have the Hanged Man card. You're like, oh no, not the Hanged Man, not the whole year. Well, this is the immediate environment. So this is how you find yourself at the beginning of the year, sort of hung up, unable to really move in any particular direction, but able to connect with your spirit, connect with source, connect with cosmic consciousness. It's like as if you're suspended. It's like a suspended animation. And I think what I want to say about that is you can relax into that. You can relax into that sense of suspended animation. You are supported through that. And it's a time for you to look. It's a time for you to explore something. So this is a time of inner exploration for you, Leo. Now we are in a 7-year, and 2023 vibrates to a 7. It is a Cancer vibration, and Cancer is very introspective. It's where we come to understand our feelings. But it's also the 7 is about knowing yourself, and Leo is all about self. But there's a parts of you that you may not quite know about yet, and those parts of you are deep within the consciousness of all things. And we have Saturn moving through that place. So Saturn will bring to you what it is that you need to know in order to, when the time is right for you to have the ability and the capacity to move forward. You'll know what direction you'll go, and what tools you have to work with. Your challenge is the Hierophant tradition, maybe a resistance to tradition. It could also be a resistance to not listening to the still small voice within, or it could be a body issues. So you want to make sure that your constitution is strong. You need to not just attend to your spiritual needs, but you also need to attend to your physical needs. This is a Taurus card, right? Taurus is in Aquarius. I mean, Taurus is in Uranus, sorry, is in Taurus right now. Okay, I know what I'm saying. It's just sometimes the words get mixed up. So there's also the challenge of the energy being so intense on the body that you need this period of a suspended animation and support so you can take on what it is that you need to take on when it comes to your relationship to your physical body. Let's see what's underneath it all. Oh, we have the Seven of Cups. You want to make sure you're making the right choice. You want to make sure you're making the right choice here. And the right choice always is you. Is the mystery. The mystery under the cup, in the cup. This is your authentic self. This is your loving self. You know, these other things are victory and let's see, what do we have here? Is that a crab? Dragons and riches, and this looks amazingly to me like Nancy Pelosi. Don't you think? I always thought that she looks like Nancy Pelosi when she was young, maybe. She's got Nancy Pelosi's hairdo anyway. So it's about choosing yourself and choosing well. Don't get distracted by boggles and bangles and jangles. You have to sort of run it through your heart. You have to run it through your feelings. And when you run it through your feelings, your ego exits in a way. Your ego takes a back seat. In the past, the Nine of Wands, the vigilant warrior. How hard have you worked? How persistent have you been? How many challenges have you faced? Every single one of them. And there you are, standing at the front of the line to take on yet another challenge. That is in the past. That is in the past. In the sky, the Two of Wands. This is about expanding your horizons. Your horizons are going to be expanded this year. Across the water. You'll cross water. Maybe you'll go, if you live in America, maybe you'll go to Europe. Maybe you'll go across the Mississippi if you live on one side of the Mississippi. But there's a sense of looking into the larger world. It doesn't mean you're going to spend your whole year traveling around, but there's going to be some significant, I think, journey over water for you, and it's going to expand the work that you have done, all of this vigilance, everything that you've accrued over the last few years stands behind you firmly on your side. And then you take your wand and you look to see how that is going to spread out into the world. That is that card is about daring to go out there, put yourself out there, and do it. You have to do it, Leo. Immediate future. Four of Cups. I laugh because this is the January card. The parties are over. The people are taking down the decorations, which you love to decorate, right? You love the pageantry, and then it's kind of maybe a pensive, introspective, looking around at the baubles and the beads. And while it was exciting, there's something left that maybe is left out of your life. And if you would just look up, you would see that it's being offered to you by the hand of God. So even if you get a little blue this month, it's okay. Just look to Spirit, because Spirit is waiting to give you all that your heart desires. Love. That's what your heart desires, Leo. It's not cars or any of that stuff. It's not jewels, not diamond rings. It's love. It's love. How you're seen from the outside. Not to be messed with. Maybe a little bit. Maybe they underestimate you a little bit, Leo. Their peril to their peril. And maybe they see you as a little provocative, as the provocateur. But you know what? When you shine your light, they see things. They see things about you. They see things that they think are about you that are actually about them. And so if they have issues with your provocateurishness, maybe they need to look at their own. Your domestic situation. Change. You might be moving away from something into something new. Dealing with the aftermath of an important person leaving your life, whether through death or through any other reason. To deal with the change and the loss of something that you never thought would be gone. Hopes and fears. Justice. Maybe if there's a legal issue and you think you're on the wrong side of things, that could be a fear, but I think a hope. I think this is a hope for fairness, a hope for justice. How many major arcanas in this one? Oh, geez. Death, justice, the Hierophant, and the Hanged Man. It's a lot of major arcanas. So this is a significant year for you, Leo. When you see a lot of major arcanas, it's a significant year. Outcome. Devil. This can be about many things. It can be about addiction. So you need to look at that. Perhaps there's somebody around you that's addicted and you're addicted to helping them. You might have to look at that. The devil is a trickster, really, because the devil makes you think that you have no choice, but you have a choice. See, there's always a choice. And there's this sense of feeling victimized, that you have no choices. I'm a victim of my circumstance. But in point of fact, the devil knows that that's a lie. You create your circumstance. So if you feel victimized by your circumstance, it's up to you to change your circumstance instead of accept the victimization. The Devil is also a manifestation card. It's not always a negative card. It's Capricorn. So you need to maybe work out some of the, really look at the financial situation that you're in from not an emotional place, but from a very pragmatic and practical place, Capricorn. And then you need to proceed to do what that information tells you to do, Saturn and Pisces, letting go and seeing what you no longer need in your life. So the Devil is also mirth. So I will quote one of Angie's favorite quotes. If you're not laughing, you're crying. So you may as well be laughing. So, and of course we have to cry. Of course we have to cry. That's, but we also have to laugh. So don't forget that part. Don't forget that part. I had a friend who used to have a problem when she'd go to funerals because she would laugh at funerals. And so when she was sad, she would laugh. And when she was happy, she would cry. So she was a Pisces, though. So they sometimes do stuff and they switch things like that. All right, I hope you enjoyed that reading. Please like and subscribe. I know it was long. I started telling you a story, and I apologize for keeping it so long. But I thought it was a cool story, and I thought it was a very Leo kind of story to tell. And maybe you needed to hear it, or maybe you didn't. Thank you for listening anyway. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful year. And like and subscribe if you haven't. And I do have a Patreon page if you want to support me. All the links are below. If you don't ask, how does anybody know, right? Okay, guys, take care. Love ya. Namaste.